There I am. Hi, I'm spotlit. Look at that. How is everybody doing today? What's going on? Happy October. We're 6 days into October. Holy guacamole. Fourth quarter 2021. How did that happen? How did that happen? Here we are. I'm a big celebratory girl, but I've kind of skipped right over Halloween and Thanksgiving, and I'm already pulling out my Christmas decorations. That's just how I roll. So is anybody in here a big Halloween person? I mean, we're like a couple weeks out from that, but anybody, we got a thumbs up from Jeffrey. Anybody got like a costume they're going to rock I don't know if people are going to be coming to the doors this year. I hope so. I hope it's safe enough to come to the doors with a mask. Halloween mask has a mask anyway, but I'm really hoping that part of the celebratory universe is intact this year. Let's see. I'm reading the chat. Here we go. Melanie's crazy busy. Yay. Rehearsal for the same show that was canceled due to COVID. Oh, Melanie. Congratulations. It's very, very exciting. David H. Lawrence the 17th says Halloween scares you. Does it scare? I'm so sorry. Really scares you? Or are you like, really? Oh, well, I can't watch a scary movie without a Disney. I call it a Disney chaser. I can't watch a scary movie without something very light and fluffy and filled with glitter. As an actor, I can act in the movie, but I've told my team, my representation of my agents, I have to be the girl standing at the end of the movie with the severed head of the demon in my hand. That's the only way I can do a horror movie. Yeah. Halloween. Chris is like Halloween. Thumbs up. Susan, woohoo. Susan says I always lift her spirits. Spirit lifter. I'm going to put that on my business card. Spirit lifter. Ellen says Christmas is the dealio. I'm getting woohoos. I'm going to listen back to this recording whenever I need a boost. Thank you for the woohoos. Melanie says, oh, Melanie is playing Malin in Steel Magnolias. Wow. Amazing character. Let us know if it's being streamed or recorded or anything like that. We can see you. Chris comes from the land of Sleepy Hollow. Oh, so Chris, is that your default costume? Are you a part of that legend every year on Halloween, or do you branch out? Yes. Disney and creepy in the same show. Yes, Jeffrey, thank you. It's beautiful. All right. Oh, I'm just so happy to see everybody. All right. You know me. I'm a big fan of hydrating yourself. If you don't already, please have some tightly capped hydration nearby to protect your electronics. I tell you this from experience. Is that tightly capped enough, David H. Lawrence the 17th? No chance. Okay, great. Just making sure. Just checking. Is it cinnamon coffee? Just checking. Yes. Whatever your favorite beverage is, tightly capped indeed. I've got a little pile in my room of electronics that have gotten their wings because I forgot to put the cap on. So please. And 15 minutes of intense hydration will dehydrate you, and we're going to be pouring some knowledge into your brain. So please keep your brain happy. And that's a nice segue to the general theme. You're always welcome to bring anything you like to office hours, and I do mean anything. And I don't care if you've asked the question 6 times before. I really don't. If you need to keep asking it, I have a deep well of patience. I have mentors and teachers who have created that sort of space for me, and so that is how I like to show up for office hours. So I'm really not kidding. Ask as many times as you need to. David said since it's distracting him, what's on my left shoulder? It's a flash tattoo. It's a flower. So I'm playing around with getting a real tattoo, but I'm a little not brave enough yet. So I've got a giant collection of flash tattoos and I try them out. So yes, somebody said to me, is that a Band-Aid? No, it's not a Band-Aid. Did you get your booster shot? No, it's a flash tattoo. There it is. There you go. I want to talk. Oh, look at that. Something's happening. I might have a little Halloween visitor in the booth today. Wow, that was fun. Melanie says I have too many commitment issues to get a tattoo. Yes, Melanie, I'm wondering because I feel like I'm the kind of person who would love it for fill in the blank period of time, maybe a long time, 10 years, and then I'd be like, ew, get it off me, and then laser and painful. And so I'm trying on the idea. Flash tattoos are very fun to play with, so I'm still sticking with that. I want to talk about your beautiful voiceover brain and your beautiful voiceover mental health. I want to talk about that. And I also want to give you some tools today during office hours. Not only are we going to answer some questions, but we're going to have you walk away empowered with some new tools in your toolkit to help you stay in a yummy, healthy place mentally. So you all know by now, and this goes for any path you might take in the artistic world. In general, the artistic world comes with beautiful bonuses and beautiful challenges that are specific to it, as does any career path choice. The artistic world, the voiceover artistic world, comes with built-in more, we're not going to get the job than we are going to get the job. And I'm very, very fussy with my words because I feel like our inner mean girl and mean boy and our inner child, our inner artist, our inner everything is always listening. So I think it's important how we talk to ourselves, both in the world and more importantly, in our own heads. So rather than talking about the voiceover career being filled with rejection, that word in general, broad brushstrokes here, has some heavier energy around it. Some would say some contraction, some negativity, if we're going to put nice labels on it. And I prefer words for you and for me that are a little more open, a little more neutral, a little more expansive. So instead of rejection, I invite you to drop into your vocabulary around your voiceover work the word selection. Not rejection, not anybody saying no to you or pushing you away. Somebody looking at all the choices and either selecting you as a beautiful match or selecting somebody else as a beautiful match. Now, easier said than done. That's why I just kind of want to drop it in and have it marinate with you for a little bit. Beyond that, of course, anybody who has turned on the television at all in the past year, and especially, of course, during the Olympics, is aware that the spotlight is on mental health for artists in a way, or athletes who are performance artists, in my opinion. The spotlight is on that in a way that it has never been before, and I think, hooray! It is way time to have the mental health of any performing artist and any human, for that matter, be firmly in the spotlight and a regular part of what we think about and talk about in terms of how to have a thriving life. So Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, Michael Phelps, there's so many, Terry Bradshaw, Serena Williams, there's so many athletes that have come forward and talked about their struggles with mental wellness. And I also want to invite you to choose the way that you want to think about this. So for some people, the phrase mental health feels like it has nothing to do with them. It feels like, something that other people deal with, or if you've got a sort of a diagnosed disorder, if you have diagnosed depression or mental illness or bipolar or anxiety disorder, if you have a medical diagnosis, then people think, well, that's mental health. And I want to really expand out that idea that mental health includes every human being on the planet that's ever lived. We all have brains. We all want them to be healthy. So it's not something for a small select part of the population. The part of the population that's very often in the conversation, in the vocabulary, is people who've got the issues, who are coming forth, or who have been diagnosed. And I really want to say to you, if the phrase mental health feels like it has nothing to do with you, choose another phrase. Let's call it your voiceover wellness, your healthy voiceover brain. You choose the phrase. But what I'm saying to you is that it doesn't matter what the labeling is unless the label is a barrier to entry for you, because I want everybody to consider making the state of your beautiful voiceover brain and artist brain and human brain a part of your radical self-care, about what you do on a daily or a weekly basis, or sometimes a moment-by-moment basis if you need to keep yourself as centered as possible, as feeling good as possible. And of course, nobody feels good all the time. And again, I'm not a therapist. This is not a replacement for the benefits of therapy. If you're having a real issue, please, please, please tell somebody and reach out. I need to say that. I wish I could download, like in the Matrix, all degrees at once, and I could talk to you as a licensed doctor and psychologist and therapist. And the place I can talk to you from is someone who has been in the wellness world for more than 20 years, because I was dragged there kicking and screaming. I have crashed and burned in my own life so many times because I did not understand how to take good care of my beautiful artist brain. And so I went seeking for tools. I have been under the blankets not wanting to get out. I have created diseases in my body because I was so highly stressed all the time. I have had panic attacks. You name it, I almost have been through it. So you can ask me anything. I'm happy to talk about anything. I'm in recovery from a multitude of eating disorders. So many things to talk about because I didn't have a toolkit. And I personally believe it should be part of what every artist is taught, either through their coaches or their mentors or their 2-year or 4-year training. So I want to talk about it today. So pop in the chat. If you're not comfortable popping in the chat anything about where you are, I understand. If you're comfortable sharing, pop in the chat. Where are you? How are you with your Voiceover Wellness Brain Toolkit? Do you feel like you have tools that assist you? What do you do when you are feeling discouraged or anxious or worried, particularly about your voiceover career? And by the way, pandemic, which we're still moving out of. So in our lives, what kind of tools do you use? Do you need more tools? Are you set with tools? Do you have tools you can share with us? So pop in the chat anything that you're comfortable talking about. I'm going to watch the chat for just a moment here. And if you're not comfortable, that's just fine. We're going to talk about it anyway. I'm going to give you tools anyway. Let me hydrate. Hydrate. Okay. All right. Let's see. David says, I'm going to read this out loud for those of you who are listening in archive who won't have access to the chat. David says he feels he's more at ease when he has a plan that's organized. When he doesn't, it's usually because he hasn't made a plan. So, David, am I understanding you that one of your tools to manage sort of anxiety or feeling overwhelmed is to create a plan for yourself? Is that going to pop off mute and talk about that? Yeah.
Yep. I feel like when I'm most at sea is when I just have acknowledged that a situation exists, but I haven't made any choices about the execution, the environment, the tools I'll need, the processes, the strategies, the tactics. It's very practical.
Okay.
But I feel like that rewards my mind. And if I don't know what's going on and I don't have some answers to move forward, that's when I start to vibrate a little and want to just go take a nap.
But is that also one of your strategies? Is because I love napping as a strategy for reducing anxiety or worry when I can do it.
I am, if there's one thing I can do very well in my life, it's nap at a moment's notice.
Where's my reactions? Woo! Napping, nap therapy. I'm so all about the napping. So for the benefit of the group and for myself, tell us, because everybody has a different strategy in terms of what kind of organization makes them more peaceful. Can you talk for a second about what you like? Like, are you a list maker? You plan your day, your week, your month? Like, how far out does it need to go for you to have some calmness kick in?
So I use a method for daily organization called the Ivy Lee method, which
Ivy Lee. So is it IVY space LEE? Is that correct?
Correct.
Ivy Lee. You can Google that. Humans. Yep.
Yeah, and we re-up the teaching of that every month with VO Heroes group. We walk you through how to do that, and it's just been a game changer for me.
Oh, that's so
I've had every method, possibility, option, tool, notebook, software. It doesn't, crazy.
My lists have lists.
And this one, very low tech, very high touch.
Oh, nice. That's really nice.
In fact, here's my.
Is it like cards. You do it on note cards? Is that what works for you? It's a note card thing?
Yeah, it's a method from the late turn of the 19th century, early 20th century.
Oh, so it's going back a little bit, but it's working really well for you.
Yeah, Ivy Lee was hired by Charles Schwab.
Yes, we've heard of him.
Working for John D. Rockefeller.
We've heard of him too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, about how to make their executives more efficient. And
interesting.
they didn't have software then or hardware.
Poor them. I know.
But anyway, the point is, it's when I don't have a plan, when I don't have some sort of plan,
Okay.
that I start to go,
Hmm.
can I handle this? And then
Mm.
I just start looking for answers. So
I love that.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you
sure.
for sharing. Goodness, that's very good. Let me see if I can. There we go. There we go. Ooh, well, that's interesting. Okay. Thank you for sharing. And I want to encourage you to be open to anything, trying anything that you hear that might help you. Try it on and see if you love it. If you love it, keep it, make it your own. If not, dump it. So we're looking for always your special sauce. You're a sparkly, unique snowflake, both as a voiceover artist and as a human. And so the organization that works for David or for me or for anybody else in the room may not work for you, but some combo platter might work for you. So that's why I love to hear what people do. Let's see. Thank you for sharing that. Let me see. Jeffrey says he needs more tools, but only because he wasn't aware until recently that he needed them. Jeffrey, that's so important. Do you want to come off mute for a second and share, if you're comfortable, what it was that brought you to the awareness that you needed some assistance? Because for most of us, including me, I was sort of like leveled. I was like laying on the floor looking at the ceiling before I realized I needed some better tools. So let me spotlight you for a second.
Yeah, well, and it's so
Hi.
interesting that you said earlier about uh, awareness of there being a problem in the first place, and how it's just mental health is just not in some people's vocabulary.
Correct.
Because I was one of those people who it just wasn't on my radar, and I think that's why it took me so long to recognize, the symptoms, if you will,
Yeah.
of mental health issues. Uh, I ascribed it to anything else. Is this a midlife crisis? Is this, just I'm not getting along with other members of my family? Is this, or, is this happening in the world around me? Is it,
Mm-hmm.
everything except, hey, I might be having mental health issues. And because it was spotlighted so much during the whole pandemic, I think
Yeah.
that was the trigger more than anything else for me. It was just sort of
Okay.
assessing what was happening to me and going, ooh, that sounds familiar. This
Oh,
could
so
this could be the
interesting.
issue.
Okay.
So I had never really pursued finding tools to deal with it because I didn't know what I was dealing with.
Right.
But now that I'm sort of hip to, yeah, I think that's sort of what's going on. I've taken steps to start an exploratory appointment with a counselor. So hopefully I'm getting the train on the tracks.
Love that.
And I'll pick up some tools for the toolbox. But yeah, it was a
Yeah.
weird feeling not being equipped to handle what was coming because I just didn't see it. It was right in front of my face and I couldn't
Yeah.
see it.
So, thank you for sharing that. I relate to that very much. I'm a huge fan of therapy. Don't have a problem talking about that at all. My therapist is part of my team, and she talks a lot about fusion, and that's a psychiatric word, but it means when the story we're telling ourselves is so familiar to us and so close to us, it's like a piece of paper on our face, and we don't know that it's a piece of paper because it's like this. So in order to be able to look at it, the paper needs to come away, and that's what some of the tools are for. Like, oh, this is a thing that's happening, rather than this is what I am or who I am or what's happening in the world, to separate it a little bit. So I commend you for getting help. Everybody, please know you are so worthy and deserving of help. And here, let me practice removing the spotlights. Where is it? There you go. Thank you, sir, for sharing. And I want to put this out there because I had people say this to me, and it just was very helpful. If you're ever in a place where you feel like you need some help and you don't feel like you have anybody comfortable or safe to talk to, please reach out to me. I am part of your village. I am part of your voiceover journey support village, and that includes your voiceover wellness and well-being. And so my wish for all of us is that we have support in place to go to, and I want you to know you can reach out to me. And my email, and in fact, I'm going to give it to you here in the chat. You already have it, but I'm going to give it to you. And I mean it. I mean it. I'm offering it because I mean it. People do that for me. And I have friends who call me up and are like, I just need to tell you, I feel like I'm quitting voiceover today. And I needed to say that out loud. I'm like, okay, great. Good. Anything else? No, that's it. Just needed to say that. Click. So like whatever you need, I want you to make use of your village. And I wanted to put that out there for all of you. Let me see. There's so many good things in the chat. Susan says she needs more tools and needs to follow David's advice and teaching. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you're getting some love in the chat, Mr. Lawrence. So please, everybody, I think, is looking at the chat. Melanie is coming up on 5 years sober from alcohol. Woo, miracle. 24/7 job is mental and emotional well-being. Yes, that comes first. Without that, says Melanie, I can't do anything. I love what you said about having a toolkit because it's totally my life. I agree with you, Melanie. I came to realize that that had to be number one priority for me, and sort of that's why I've done such a deep dive into well-being. It is the thing that allows me to move forward as an artist and have the kind of healthy relationships I want in my life. Absolutely. Melanie, this is Melanie. One of my favorite organizational tools is having a routine instead of a schedule for work. I love that. That's a great example of changing the vocabulary. Let's see. Are you able to pop off mute? I'm trying to remember. Somebody said they could not pop off mute.
Let me see. Oh, yes.
Hi. Let me spotlight
Hi.
you. Hi. Hi. Talk about that for a second. That's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, so just really quick so I don't get too personal. When I was trying to get sober, I struggled early on until I got back into acting.
Mhm.
Literally was like, screw it, I'm going to go to an audition, whatever. And it totally sent me on this journey back into the acting, and which led into voiceovers. And from that day on, sobriety worked. So like for me, performing and doing voiceover and being the artist that I am is crucial to literally me being alive. Acting saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about finding tools and ways to deal with this crazy world we're in on every level. And artistry and voiceover stuff and acting is just an integral part of that.
That's great.
So I like to be, I'm half German, so I have a very I tend to be very list oriented and very regimented. And for the longest time, I was all about up by 8 o'clock, go for your run, go to the gym, do this, breakfast here. And it got to the point where I realized that wasn't actually mentally healthy for me. That amount of regimentation was not helping. It was actually overwhelming me.
Yeah.
So I shifted that at one point to, I just have a routine. I have things that I generally do every day. I do 5 voiceover submissions every day, whether it's in the morning because I'm feeling great and I did get up and go have that run and I'm feeling powerful, or I'm just having a day and it's what I do at the end of the night to just wrap up my day and feel like I've done something for my journey. It could be fluid as to when that happens, or if I have an off day and I'm sick, just take the day off. That's fine. It's a routine, not a schedule. So it's something that it gives me just enough structure to be fluid and deal with what the days as they come.
Yeah.
Without having no structure, where I'm just like, whatever, I'll do whatever I feel like. That to me is a little too unstructured.
I understand.
The schedule for me is a good mid-ground that I've found is flexible and gives me some structure to work with.
That's beautiful. And also in there, I'm hearing a lot of kindness to yourself in terms of if you make a plan to do X and X doesn't happen, we don't take out the Nerf bat and beat ourselves silly. It's like, this didn't happen, and I'm going to be flexible and I'll move it or I'll shift it. That's gorgeous. I think that's a superpower.
It's hard. Learning to be kind to yourself is a skill set, and it is not easy, but it's doable.
It is, and thank you so much for sharing. That's beautiful. I appreciate your everybody being vulnerable and sharing what works for them is really kind of super awesome. And self-kindness, it's amazing because so many of us took lessons from our early upbringing, or maybe were taught that way from our teachers or our I like to call them the blood family or the family of choice. They could come from anywhere. That if your word is your bond, if you say something, you must do it. If you don't do it, there's all these horrible consequences, and that's pretty rigid. And so a lot of us and a lot of my clients and students come to me with some variation of that. So part of what I love to do as a voiceover coach is to help soften whatever rigidity we have from our past that does not serve us. If it serves us in terms of structure, great. If it doesn't, it deserves some examination and some softness. So that's really beautiful. Very, very beautiful indeed. Let's see. Anybody else? I want to make sure that everybody who would like to share anything gets a chance to. Okay, just pop it in the chat. I'll be watching. There we go. And so I want to give you a couple of tools, and then we'll leave plenty of time for questions because I have several that were sent to me, and there may be several in the group. So these are things I want to give you that can be part of your voiceover wellness toolkit. I like them because they can be used anywhere, anytime, pretty much. With the exception of driving. If you're driving, this first one won't work, but anywhere other than driving, if you're at a stoplight, it'll work. And some of you may already know this. Those of you who are yogis, I'm a yoga instructor, love restorative hatha. It's my favorite. So I learned this in the yoga world. However, it's taught lots of places, and it's called alternate nostril breathing. And so let me see, is anybody driving? I don't think anybody's driving today. I'm looking. All right, well, if you're driving, please don't do this unless you're at a stoplight. This is called alternate nostril breathing. I'm going to talk you through it, and then we're going to do 60 seconds of it. So before we do, kind of want you to just take a notice of where you are today in terms of where is your peace level, your anxiety level, your worry level. If 0 were you're so relaxed, you're a noodle, you might fall asleep in your Zoom square, which would be a great honor to me that you'd be comfortable being that relaxed around me. And 10 is like you're so anxious or worried, you might have a little panic attack right in your square. I hope none of you is in that place, but if you are, let's see if we can get you some assist. So on a scale of 0, noodle, to 10, panic attack, where are you on that scale? If you're comfortable popping in the chat, do. If you're not, just make a note of it. Melanie's at a 4. That's noodle-ish. David's at 6. That's right above midpoint. Got it. Jeffrey's at a 3. Let me see where I am. I'm at about a 6 just because I get all amped up when I talk to you guys. It's excitement, but also a little bit of anxiety. It's just how I am when I come to office hours. So I'm a 6. Beautiful. Ellen's at a 4. Jeffrey's at a 3. Okay, good to notice. All right, so this is basically what it sounds like. You're going to breathe in one nostril, block it, and breathe out the other. If you were in a yoga class, they would have you do a fancy hand position called a mudra, which is the Sanskrit word for hand. Block however you want to. Thumb is really good. Fingers really good, whatever you like. But we're going to breathe into the count of 4, hold for a beat, breathe out to a count of 4. And if you want to, because you're peacefully in your Zoom square, I invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes open so that I can watch and make sure everybody's okay. But I invite you to close your eyes if you'd like to. If you're more comfortable turning off your camera for this, I invite you to do that. I want you to do whatever is comfy for you. We're going to do about 30 seconds of this. So go ahead and block your right nostril, however you wish to. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the left. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the right. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the left. Breathe out through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last round. Breathe in through the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block the right. Breathe out through the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep breath in and out with some sound. One more. Deep breath in, out with some sound. That's very good. I'm pretty energy sensitive. I felt a nice sort of boost of the peace and calmness in the room. Check in with yourself. Where is your number? Are you closer to 0 at noodle? Have you moved down that scale even one number from where you were? That was about 30 seconds, and you can do that anytime you feel anxious. There is no downside to doing that 10 times a day if you need to, every minute if you need to for a little while. It's a really beautiful tool. It gets the left and right side of the brain talking to each other. What happens when we get anxious, to simplify the brain science, which I love, is that the left and right side of the brain are snippy, and they have a fight, and they go into opposite corners with their own blanket and their cookie, and they refuse to talk to each other. And that produces lots of anxiety in the system. So the alternate nostril breathing gets them happy and talking to each other. Okay, beautiful. So that's a really good one to calm anxiety, because we can go in any way in terms of your voiceover health. We can go in through the brain, through the emotions, through the body, through the spirit. There's so many ways in. I want to give you tools that come in from every angle, because your way in on a certain day may be different. Maybe today it's going to be alternate nostril breathing, and you'll come in through the body. Maybe another day you need to come in through the mind with sort of an affirmation or a mantra, which we'll talk about in a second. Maybe you need to come in with something spiritual, which we can talk about also. So there's so many ways in. I want you to try everything and see what works. Put it in your toolkit and use it and let me know. I always want to know what's working and how it's working for you. I'm very interested. Melanie says, what a nifty tool. Yes, you can use it anywhere. Beautiful. So I want to give us something. Now, my vocabulary tends to be, those of you who know me, a little bit woo-woo. I love the invisible world. I believe heartily in the invisible world. I think it interacts with us very often. And so I want to talk about the energy of love and self-love in particular. Now, a lot of us are loving people by default, or we're brought up to sort of think about being loving to other people. Most of us are not as good. The muscle is not as strong with being loving with ourselves for some reason. It's really, really interesting. And that can be cultural, societal, can be like about an incident that happened. Who knows where it came from? But what I want to tell you is it's a beautiful muscle to strengthen, to beam yourself some love. Now, if the word love is too woo-woo or granola for you, choose another word. Some self-support, some self-kindness, some self-compassion. I want you to choose the words that allow you access to whatever this is. So in my life, I have found that certain words, I feel like I throw up a barrier to them for whatever reason. And so I have had many coaches say to me, pick another word, for goodness sake. Pick a word that feels good to you for whatever this thing is. I want to encourage you to explore that. So I'm going to call it self-love, but please choose another phrase for yourself if you don't like that phrase. I want you to think about spending, again, 30 seconds to a minute, beaming yourself some love, appreciation, gratitude, support, whatever these beautiful words are. It is a non-negotiable part of, in my humble opinion, life on the planet, and a thriving anything, a thriving life, thriving relationships with ourselves and others, thriving voiceover career. And so many of us were in the very naughty habit, my hand raised here in the beginning, in terms of the progress in my voiceover life, minimizing. Yeah, I did that thing, but I haven't done that. Or yeah, I booked that job, but it only paid this much. Or yeah, I got that agent, but it's not this agent. So it's a horrible habit. And so one of the great antidotes to that is to consciously sit down for 30 or 60 seconds and blanket yourself with love and appreciation for yourself and who you are and what you've done and your being on the planet. You are a unique, sparkly snowflake. There is nobody like you in all of time and space ever. In any timeline, there is nobody. That's the exact combination of you. And so when you stop to think about that, it's a frickin' miracle times a billion. So this is a really fun, easy tool that you can use, again, almost anywhere, unless you're driving. Please be at a stoplight. And this is called heart-centered breathing. So I'm gonna talk you through it really quickly, and then we're gonna do 30 to 60 seconds of it. So you place one or both hands over your heart. And the idea is, again, you're gonna breathe in for a count of 4 through your heart. This is the theater of your mind, your imagination. You're gonna imagine whatever you wanna see, like a column of breath or a color coming in from outside the world into you, that is attached to the energy of love. For some people, that's pink. For some people, it's green. It can be any color you want. It can just look like a stream of something. But any love that's anywhere in the world that you have ever experienced in your life, you can call that in from any timeline. So past, present, and future. Love. The trees love you. Your animals love you. The people in your life love you. Any person, place, or thing, or event, or experience in your life that has been high vibrational or benefited you or filled you with love or light, you're going to breathe that in through your heart center. And then you're going to hold it for a beat, and then you're going to breathe it out. So you're basically bathing all of you in this giant column of love. And in that mix, of course, can be love and appreciation for yourself. Anything that you particularly are happy about in your world right now, anything you appreciate. It could be your excellent nose that reminds you of your grandfather. It could be your sense of style. It could be the beautiful way that you choose to think or respond when you have a challenge. The sky's the limit in terms of anything you like about yourself. That can be in that mix. If that's tough for you, then start with any person, place, or thing or event that has ever generated a sense of love, either to you, around you, with you, or for you. And again, if you don't like the word love, it can be happiness, contentment, appreciation, gratitude. So again, I invite you to either close your eyes or turn off the camera if that's more comfortable to you. I'm going to keep my eyes open so I can see all of you. And just settle into your chair wherever you are. Just relax a little bit. Sometimes we have a tendency to sort of like clench, so just relax your shoulders down from your ears a bit. If you can, plant your feet on the ground. There's something to be said for being your feet on something solid, and it can be, on the carpet, on the floor, whatever it is, if you have that available to you. All right, so here we go. You're going to breathe in through these two hands over your heart. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Last round. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a beat. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. Deep breath in. Out with some sound. One more. Deep breath in. And out with some sound. That's nice. Tell me, once you come back into the room, pop in the chat, or if you want to pop off mute, you certainly can if you feel like talking. Let me know how that was. That tool is a very nifty one to strengthen your self-love, self-appreciation muscle, and the wonderful side effect of that is resilience. So resilience, there's a lot of definitions, but and there's been a lot of talk about resilience, of course, in the last 18 months to 2 years because of the pandemic. Resilience, one of the definitions that I like, is the ability to come back to center after having been impacted or knocked down by something. And by the way, we can knock ourselves down, right? So with our thoughts, our feelings, if we get anxious or spun out, that's an impact from which we have to come back to center. So it's not just things outside of us which call forth resilience. It's the things inside of us while we're working on being kinder to ourselves. If you get yourself caught in a place of worry, anxiety, meanness over anything, the heart-centered breathing is a really beautiful tool to come back to that center. Melanie says, I love that definition of resilience. I've never heard it put like that. I like it too. And that's why I like to talk about this, because so many times the buzzwords in the media feel like they are separate from us. And so I like to simplify these terms because they're really the things they're talking about are applicable to all of us. But many of us, and I'm guilty of this, go, oh, resilience. Yeah, that's for corporate people who are having meetings with 10,000 people. That really doesn't have anything to do with me. That has everything to do with you. Resilience is a human superpower that you can strengthen. So thank you, Melanie, for saying that. David says, I check my pulse before and after. He gave himself a Fitbit for his birthday. What a great birthday present. Your pulse went from 94 to 88 during the heart-centered breathing. I'm going to cry. That's so good. Where's my reactions? I must react. Heart for the heart-centered breathing. Anything you'd like to... La, 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 la. Those of you who, I'll just say it. For some reason, talking to David, who is a dear friend, and also a voiceover black belt. Those of you who don't know voheroes.com, please go after voiceover hours and take a lookie. When I'm talking to him, I end sentences and phrases when I'm happy with la la la. I don't do it with anybody else. Like, oh, I just had a really fun phone call. La la la. I had no idea I was doing it, people. None. Until he pointed it out. So it's a thing now. La la la. So I'm going to say it now. This is a great office hours. La la la. Okay, great. Yes, I love me some resilience tool. Really, really, really good. There was a third one I was going to give you. Oh, yes. So there's so many, and I want to give you one more, and then I want to get to some questions because I have some to answer in the voiceover universe. So this is a really good tool when you catch yourself, when you hear the ticker tape in your head skew towards what we would call negative thoughts or sad thoughts or depressing thoughts, or, and fill in the blank, whatever the adjective is for you that has you feeling contracted or heavy or sluggish or whatever that is for you. It's different for everybody. So mantras are really interesting. And a mantra is basically a phrase that you repeat over and over again to try and shift the thought loop that you have going on to something else. And there's another tool called the switch to that I know, Jeffrey, you and I are going to have like a little chat about that. I want to teach that to you, but I'm going to bring it to the next office hours, the switch to thought. So this is different than the switch to thought, which I will teach you in November. This is just choosing a phrase that starts with I am. And there's all kinds of neuroscience around this. It's fascinating. I'll see if I can find some of those studies for those of you who are interested. There's some really interesting research that shows that when you start a phrase about yourself with I am, the word I am has a certain vibration or frequency that's pretty high. And so when you say I am calm, it's very different than saying to yourself, I'd like to be calm, or I need to be calm. So I am calm sort of assumes and gives the message to your neural net that's listening to everything we say. It's kind of crazy. Gives the message that you're already in that state, and part of us gets to work and goes, oh, he's calm. Oh, she's calm. Okay, good. So there's a cascade of things that happen when we use the I am construction repeatedly, some of which is mysterious and some of which they've started to measure. So I'll see if I can find the measurable stuff. So whenever you're feeling any of that, you start with I am and fill in the blank with what it is you'd like to call in. I love I am calm. If I'm feeling anxious, I love I am peaceful. I love I am safe. Sometimes for me, when my anxiety gets triggered, there's a strange safety thing that kicks in that's from my childhood. I don't really care to unearth it, but I want to be able to bring myself back to center. So the I am safe, I like that a lot, along with I am calm. I am supported if you're in a place where you're feeling like you don't know what to do. I am clear. I am open to wisdom. Melanie uses I am safe to help fall asleep at night. Oh, I love that. Melanie, thank you for sharing. I love that. I am safe. Now this is obviously for use in places where you're feeling anxiety and there's nothing threatening you other than your own brain. Obviously, if you're ever in some place that's not safe, we don't want you sitting running the affirmation, I'm safe. We want you to do something to get yourself safe. Okay, obviously, just to be clear on that. But when you're dealing with your emotions or your thoughts, I am followed by fill in the blank is a really beautiful thing. So let's try it. So everybody choose one. I am, and then pick one thing you'd like to call in. If you want to pop it in the chat, you can. If you want to just hold it to yourself, that's perfectly fine. But pick one. I am something. Everybody choose one thing. And then I'm going to set the timer, and we're going to do 30 seconds of it. Let me see. What is mine? I love calmness. I'm going to do, and I love typing it. I like calm, and I am, and you can also be the state. I am calmness. You're a sparkly snowflake, so pick the word that works for you. So again, I invite you to either close your eyes or turn off your camera. We're going to do 30 seconds of this affirmation for you. And let me do, where's my seconds? 30 seconds. And the magical harp of destiny will ring when the 30 seconds is up. So close your eyes, get comfortable. Make sure your shoulders have not come up towards your ears. They should be down. Shake out your hands, your legs, ground your feet. And I'm going to do this one along with you. So here we go. 30 seconds of I am and the choice of your word. And it's nice to breathe in and breathe out. So breathe in on I am this and breathe out on I am that. And you can also speak it as many times as you want. So you can either do it silently, to be clear. Breathe in, I am calm. Breathe out, I am calm in your head. Or you can speak it if that's more powerful. Here we go, 30 seconds. Here we go. It's the magical harp of destiny. That was 30 seconds, everybody. I didn't want to come back. It's so lovely. This is such a lovely tool. 30 seconds feels way too short, and it's enough to make an impact often on our state of being. And play around, and whatever words you find that really help you, I'd make a teeny list of them somewhere. Put them in your smartphone, make a little list, carry it around in your wallet, put it on your computer. David says, this session typifies what I envision radical self-care to be. Yes. Radical self-care is the name of a course I'm getting ready to teach and launch into the world. Based on the things that I love to talk about. Jeffrey happened to be with me at Voiceover Atlanta, and I did energy work for voiceover artists. And it's one of my favorite things on the planet to teach, and it's a joy. So David says he usually pushes back hard on woo-woo stuff, but this all seems accessible to you. Yours was, I am open. Thank you for that beautiful feedback. I'm so happy about that. So I'm so happy to teach all of this because I truly want all of us to be thriving, healthy voiceover artists who are enjoying our art and enjoying our lives. And for me, the non-negotiable piece to that is radical self-care and voiceover mental wellness. And there's so many pieces of it, so it's such a joy to bring it to you. Such a joy. All right, let me go to some questions. Let's shift to somebody has a question in the voiceover world. I had some that were sent to me, so let me go to them quickly. Susan, these are I think some of these are from you. So is there anything in particular you want me to touch on first? We have a list of them from you, and I'll get to them all. Susan, I'm very blessed to have Susan in my mentorship. So anything we don't get to today, Susan, I'll get to when we meet. Let's see, downloaded. Okay, so Susan has a question about Audacity. Oh, Jeffrey. Oh, everybody take a look at Jeffrey. Who is that? That's an example of radical self-care. Any of you who have cats or dogs or whatever your thing is that'll wrap themselves around you, that is a beautiful aspect of red.
That is Aja. She sleeps that way too.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna spotlight her. We must spotlight.
But now that I'm holding her, she's gonna freak out.
Okay. All right. She's like, I'm camera shy. It's not in my contract to be on camera. Call my agent. Hi, Aja. You're gorgeous. Thank you for helping your daddy be calm. That's very, very good. Thank you, all critters everywhere. All right. Thank you for sharing her. That's beautiful. Okay. Let me go here. So Susan had a question about Audacity looking different on a PC versus a Mac. And the answer is yes. It will look different depending on whether you're on a Mac or PC, also depending on what version of the operating system you're running, either on a Mac or PC. So there's nothing wrong if your Audacity looks different on your Mac than your PC. It's just a different format. And I would want you to check to see that you have the latest version of Audacity that your operating system is compatible with. And there's a way to do that on the Audacity download site. If you have any trouble with that, reach out to me and I can talk you through that. That's easy. Also, for those of you who are Audacity lovers and users, it took me a long time to figure out that you could change the appearance of Audacity. And they have one of them that's like neon green and jet black that just looks like Halloween all day to me. It's really fun. So I think this month I might use that format for my Audacity just because it'll keep me in the Halloween mood. It's really, really fun. All right, let's see. There's a question about creating folders for your desktop or laptop. Let's see. So typically, and there's an organizational system, and I credit David H. Noyes the 17th with this. He taught me this. There's an organizational system for the computer that just helps keep your life better. And it's about creating folders and folders within folders. But of course, you first need to know how to create a folder. And if you're switching from Mac to PC or, from PC to Mac, typically it's very easy to create a folder. I'm going to do it right now. You would click anywhere on the desktop and go to the file menu, and under file, it says new folder. And you would just click new folder and instantly you'll have a new folder and you can move that around. And again, if that doesn't make any sense to you, when we meet in our mentorship group, I'm happy to talk you through that as well. Let me see if there's anything else about folders. I think that was the two biggies. Yes. So For those of you who are dealing with noise floor, and again, the thing you're going for is minus 60 dB or decibels for your noise floor. That's what's happening when your mic is plugged in and on. Either the AT2020 USB if it's plugged directly in, or if you're using a Scarlett or PreSonus, a preamp, the mic is plugged in, the 48 volt power is on, the direct monitoring is on, so your system is up and going. And if you click on the phrase click to start monitoring in Audacity and do nothing, that little bar, that little green bar will tell you exactly how loud it is in the room. And what you're going for is it's a little dance. So it's a little bit of some finessing and art. You're going from minus 60 dB when you're quiet. That's what the mic is hearing. And at the same time, at those settings, between minus 12, maxing out at minus 6 when you're speaking. So those two things need to be present at the same time. I'm very naughty and guilty, and David H. Lawrence the 17th can attest to this because he's the one who told me that I was being naughty. So I was like, let me just move the little input recording volume button down. Let me just move it to the left until I'm at minus 60, right? That's good. And then if I have to talk a little louder to get to minus 12, that's cool, right? No. Magical Harp of Destiny still wants to be in the mix. Please hold. No, that's called gaming the system, and you don't want to do that. So what we want for you as a thriving, healthy voiceover artist is for you to be in your conversational tone on your mic, no pushing of your throat, no efforting, stressing to get to minus 12, conversational minus 12, and at the same time, when you're quiet, minus 60. Now, if you're not there, there's a lot of things to consider. You can see what's going on in the room. Is there a way to make anything in the room quieter? Do you have a washer dryer running that's showing up as noise floor? Is the AC showing up as noise floor? Do you have buzzy power strips or electric lights? Do you have a snoring cat under your table? It was mine one time. Really, that was an easy fix. Moose, my magical moose. Snoring. I was crying. I cry. I'll tell you a lot in the beginning. I cried. I called people up crying, and I was like, I don't know. I can't get it. And it's Moose. It was Moose. Okay. So there's the space itself. There's the, like, is your cord banging up against something? Is your table noisy? Is your chair noisy? You are, as a voiceover artist, a voiceover noise floor sleuth for the rest of your beautiful career. And I want you to think about it as fun. If it's not fun, use one of the tools to bring your anxiety down. Walk away, take a break, pet a cat, take a nap, do a happy dance, and come back. This is something you'll be doing for your whole life. I want you to bring the element of fun and ease into it. It takes a minute sometimes to get your studio calibrated to broadcast quality, industry standard, and to stay there consistently. Yeah, so please be kind and gentle to yourself. Let's see. Okay, so I had a question about if you're testing different spaces for noise floor, can you pick up your rig and move it around? Absolutely, carefully. So if your computer does not have a fan and you're recording on a computer without a fan, you can bring carefully your computer and your mic, or your computer and your mic and your preamp if you're working with that, and your pop filter. Set it up peacefully in the space you're testing. Open Audacity, click to start monitoring, and see what happens. Now, if it's an untreated space, just know that just sitting in there with a lot of blank walls is going to create something called room reflection, which basically means the sound file likes to ping around like a ping pong ball on things that are hard and flat and unbroken, like walls, windows, doors, cabinets that have a flat surface. So if you're in that space and there's a lot of that, the noise floor will be up and it'll sound a little echoey. So just know you can test in any space, but get it as tricked out as you can with like squishy things and a mat underneath you and a mat on the hard surfaces. Do what you can to minimize the pinging of the sound and increase the quietness before you test. But absolutely, you can go from space to space. But before you do that, I want you to use your beautiful voiceover ears. Your ears are a superpower. You have 2 of them. They're magical. I want you to walk around your home and listen and see what are the quietest spaces and what are the quietest times of day. Because maybe the right space is only available from noon to 4 every day, or from 9 to midnight, or from so it could be a good space at certain times. If that's okay with you, that's something to consider. Let's see. Other questions here. Do I just take? Okay, good. Yes, for those of you who are using the AT2020 USB Plus and have an Apple phone, there's something called the Apple Camera Connector, because ideally it's meant for a camera to plug in, though I don't know anybody who does that anymore, but that's why it was created. It goes into where you would plug in the charger. This is on the 11, but it has a David H. Launch the 17th. Help me out. What's the name of the thing that goes into the camera? Is that a
Lightning.
Thank you. Lightning. A lightning thing. Thank you. Lightning. And then the other end has a USB port where your AT2020 USB Plus goes into. So you can actually record using the AT2020 USB Plus and your smartphone. Record into your phone that way. That's all the questions that got emailed in. Tell me, we're right at our hour, but if someone has more questions, I'm happy to answer them. It's just so lovely to see everybody and to share some tools. Thoughts, comments, musings, recipes? Anybody? Anybody got anything? All right. Well, you all know how this happens. So everybody take yourself off mute. This is how we're going to end. We're going to end like we always do. Gallery. Everybody off mute, please. And if you can't come off mute, I understand. I know some of you said you were working. Please raise your right hand. Please grab the back of your left shoulder. Pat, 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 pat. Please repeat after me. I am VoiceOver Awesome.
I am voiceover.
Awesome.
I learned some new VoiceOver tools today.
I
I
learned
learned
some
some
voice.
voiceover tools today.
The VoiceOver world is lucky to have me.
The voiceover world is lucky to
Lucky to have me. Yay me.
Yay.
Yay! So lovely to see all of you and be in the village. Just a joy. Please go forth, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, have a beautiful October. Feel free to send me pictures of you in your Halloween costume. I may pull out the giant inflatable red M&M. Melanie, who is that? Let's just have a little moment here. What? Hold on. How do I add a
This is Lily. She's blind as a bat, bless her heart, but she's my little
Hi, Beast.
my little Woody.
Hi,
My
Beast.
little Woody.
Thank you for being part of your mama's calmness toolkit. Thank you very much. All right, lovely humans. You are a delight. It has been my pleasure. Karen-Eileen Gordon signing off. Until next time, when I see you at VoiceOver office hours. Be well. See you soon. Bye.